The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a long-standing and deeply rooted dispute with a complex history. Its origins can be traced back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, with various key events and factors contributing to its development. Some significant milestones in the history of the conflict include: late 19th century. The late 19th century saw the beginning of the Zionist movement, which aimed to establish a homeland for Jewish people in historic Palestine. This movement gained momentum as Jewish immigrants began to settle in the region. World War I. The defeat of the Ottoman Empire in World War I led to the issuance of the Balfour Declaration in 1917. This declaration expressed British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. British Mandate period. After World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain the mandate to govern Palestine. This period was marked by increasing tensions between Jewish and Arab communities, with clashes over land and national identity. 1947 UN Partition Plan. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan that would have created separate Jewish and Arab states in Palestine, with Jerusalem under international administration. While accepted by Jewish leaders, it was rejected by Arab leaders, leading to the 1947–1949 war. 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The 1948 war between the newly declared State of Israel and neighboring Arab states resulted in territorial changes and a significant Palestinian refugee crisis. The armistice agreements left the situation in the hands of the new nation of Israel, Jordan, and Egypt. Occupation of territories. In the 1967 Six-Day War, Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. The occupation of these territories further exacerbated tensions and shaped the ongoing conflict. Peace efforts. Over the years, numerous peace initiatives and negotiations have been attempted, including the Oslo Accords, Camp David Accords, and the Annapolis Conference, among others. However, a comprehensive, lasting peace agreement has proven elusive. The conflict's roots are deeply intertwined with historical, religious, and nationalist factors. Both Israelis and Palestinians have their own narratives and claims to the land, making it a highly complex and sensitive issue. It's essential to recognize that the conflict's origins are deeply historical, and it continues to be a source of regional and international concern to this day. What is the impact caused by the dispute? The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has had a profound and wide-ranging impact on various aspects of life in the region and beyond. This impact is both human and socio-economic and has persisted over many decades. Some of the notable consequences and effects of the dispute include: 1. Humanitarian crisis. The conflict has resulted in a significant humanitarian crisis, particularly in the Gaza Strip. Periodic military clashes and blockades have led to the destruction of infrastructure, loss of life, and dire living conditions for many Palestinians. Access to basic necessities, including clean water, electricity, and medical care, has been limited. 2. Casualties and loss of life. The protracted conflict has resulted in the loss of thousands of lives on both sides. Civilians, including children, have often been caught in the crossfire during military operations and attacks. 3. Displacement and refugee crisis. The conflict has led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. Many Palestinians continue to live in refugee camps in neighboring countries, where they face challenging living conditions. Meanwhile, Jewish immigrants from various countries have moved to Israel, further contributing to demographic shifts in the region. 4. Economic impact. The instability and security concerns have had adverse effects on the economies of both Israel and the Palestinian territories. Palestinian economic development has been hampered by movement restrictions, while Israel has faced security costs and international pressure. 5. Psychological and social impact. The conflict has taken a toll on the mental health and well-being of people living in the region. Prolonged exposure to violence, stress, and trauma has affected the psychological health of individuals and communities. 6. Political and diplomatic tensions. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has led to tensions in the Middle East and strained diplomatic relations on a global scale. The issue is a recurring point of contention in international politics, often leading to geopolitical divisions. 7. Security measures. The conflict has prompted both Israel and the Palestinian Authorities to implement security measures, including checkpoints, barriers, and restrictions on movement. These measures have contributed to tensions and frustration among the population. 8. Educational disruption. Schools and educational institutions in the conflict-affected areas often face disruptions due to violence and instability, impacting the quality of education for children and young people. 9. Global impact. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has had an impact beyond the region. It has played a role in shaping international relations, impacting diplomatic initiatives, and influencing the politics of various countries. 10. Stalled economic development. In the Palestinian territories, particularly in the Gaza Strip and West Bank, economic development has been hindered by the conflict. Limited access to resources, restrictions on movement, and a lack of investment opportunities have held back economic growth. 11. Loss of cultural heritage. Conflict and instability have also taken a toll on cultural heritage sites and artifacts, impacting the preservation of historical and cultural legacies. It's important to note that the impact of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is multifaceted, affecting people's lives, socio-economic conditions, security, and prospects for peace and stability in the region. Efforts to address these issues and seek a lasting resolution continue, but the challenges are complex and deeply entrenched. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a deeply complex political and humanitarian issue marked by historical, territorial, and religious disputes. The conflict revolves around competing national aspirations and claims to land, with both Israelis and Palestinians having legitimate historical and political narratives. Efforts to resolve the conflict have aimed at finding a peaceful, negotiated solution that addresses the legitimate rights and aspirations of both parties. The most widely accepted framework for a solution is the two-state solution, which envisions an independent and sovereign state of Palestine alongside the State of Israel. However, reaching such a solution has proven challenging, and the conflict has persisted for decades. It's important to approach the Israeli-Palestinian conflict with a focus on achieving a just and durable peace, ensuring the well-being and rights of both Israelis and Palestinians, and fostering stability and coexistence in the region. The conflict's resolution should prioritize diplomacy, international mediation, and negotiation to address the historical grievances and competing claims and to build a peaceful future for all parties involved.